Good morning. Welcome to the November 4th, 2021 Planning Board meeting. I'd like to call it to order. We'll all stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance
to
to the flag
of
of
the
the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Before we get into the agenda and the minute or the public comments and the case for this morning, we have some planning board business that we need to unfortunately take care of with the passing of Tom and then the resignation of Noel, and that's considering of a chair and a vice chair. I know we only have three. Couple things we can do this, we can do a temporary or an interim chair and vice chair. The town council at Monday's meeting did direct staff to advertise and start interviewing on applications submitted for planning board vacancies. I will leave it up to the three of you to discuss how we want to do this. If you want to elect a permanent chair and vice chair, or a temporary one, and then once we get a full board, we can then do permanent ones. But I'll leave that up to y'all how you would want to do that. Go ahead.
Do we, is there an obligation to appoint a permanent one until we get at least one of the vacancies filled?
There's an obligation to have I don't necessarily think a permanent one. If that's what the board would like to do, is do a permanent one, that's the route we can go. There is an obligation to fill the seat temporarily or permanently until we get, somebody's got to fill the void as of now. And if it wishes to be temporary or permanently, y'all can make that decision.
I don't know how the rest of the planning board feels, but I'm pretty uncomfortable having a permanent and with just three of us to choose from, if you will. Yeah. I'd like to see who the other one or two candidates might be that town council would interview. And then once they get appointed by town council, revisit this. I guess if we have to have a temporary one, chair and vice chair, two of us can put our hands up for that. But and I don't mind running the gavel and doing that, but again, I'd be extremely uncomfortable with voting for a permanent chair right now.
The way I understand it, the two new appointees, which the council can just choose or do whatever they want, the way I read the UDO, they can appoint somebody. They're to fill out the remaining term to August of 2022. On the two openings, right?
I think town council has to do that.
Yeah, council would have to do that.
So no matter, right, so that's just until August 2022.
Correct.
And then those people either have to re-up or re-advertise.
Yeah.
But I agree in principle with Pete here is that at this point, I would say we elect an interim chair and vice chair with the plan for either pick a date, January or February or something, say once the planning board's completely filled out.
Yeah.
To reconsider either those people go for permanent, same two, or somebody else moves in or out.
Staff would be interviewing along with town council, but town council would be appointing, but we would not appoint one and then a month later turn around and appoint another one. I would hope we would take all the applications, and my expectation is to take all the applications and appoint two out of that pile of applications.
Unless you only get one applicant.
Unless we only get one applicant, but I honestly don't anticipate that. I anticipate a good amount of applications in.
So do I.
So I'm expecting some interest in these two vacancies. So it's the floor is y'all's of how you want to handle that, or who you want to nominate, and then I will need a motion. A second, then we'll discuss and then vote on that. However you.
So, what do you think?
I'm all for interim. I think that would be a good idea. I think that's really the best idea because we're missing two members. That's a lot.
Would you consider taking one of those positions?
I would if I had to. Yes, I would because I care about the board.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you're in the ETJ does not mean we exclude you out.
I know. I tried that. It didn't work.
Well, what about you?
I don't have any problem with it for an interim period. I mean, it's just.
So you'd consider taking,
I guess,
one of the positions, okay? Well,
And you too.
yes, as I said, I'd gavel the meetings in and do what was required, but only with the proviso that it be temporary.
Might I also interject here? We used to have alternates, which would have eliminated this problem for ETJ and the town. Why did we stop having alternates?
The UDO says you're supposed to have an alternate.
Hmm?
The UDO says you're supposed to have an alternate.
And I will look into that. I'll talk to staff, administration staff, and figure out why that
Yeah,
is.
it says there should be 5 board members,
Yeah.
1 from ETJ, 4 from town, and 1 alternate. Actually, I don't think it says where the alternate.
No, they removed that alternate position in the update of the UDO.
Oh, okay.
Not the book we just got.
Uh,
I didn't bring it with me, but I just read it the other day to figure out what the duties of the chairman were, and it doesn't say much.
As I was appointed for
Yeah.
this position, I read down, and when you read further down in the paragraph, it says that it was eliminated. But we'll take that
I'll take
up.
a look
Whatever
at
the
that.
wording says, it says.
Well, it's something maybe Chad can talk to the council if you get a pile of.
Yeah. I mean,
If you get a number of applicants, they may decide to say, here's
just
the 2, but number 3, would you like to be an alternate as
Yeah.
needed?
where I had thought of that as
Right.
well. Look into that, and you
But
get interest.
We had both.
Yeah.
We had an alternate for ETJ and an alternate for the town. But you're saying when they revamped it, they took away the
I'm not
alternate?
sure. I mean, this is the first time we've run into this issue, so I really haven't had the opportunity to read through that part and hit that in the weeds portion of the UDO, so to speak. So
Okay.
And rules of procedure to the state.
So we need a motion.
yeah, you would need to nominate somebody for chair, and then we can do it in the same motion. Nominate somebody for chair, nominate somebody for vice chair if they're willing. Make a motion, accept a second, and then an all in favor.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I move that these 2 gentlemen take the chair and the vice chair.
Which one is which?
Well, since he offered to chair,
I should keep my motion.
That's what I was trying to do.
oh, you stinkers.
Go ahead.
Hey, that's all
Go
right.
ahead.
I make the motion, you guys are stuck. So yes, I nominate these.
Okay.
You gotta name them.
Specific.
You
Yeah, name it for the record.
Pete and Ron, Pete is chair and Ron is vice chair.
Yes.
Ron is chair and Pete is vice
Well,
chair.
Pete spoke up first, so
So I have a motion on the table from Sybil that Pete be nominated as temporary or interim chairman,
interim chair and
then
Ron
Ron is
as
interim
Vice
vice
chair.
chair.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
There it is. So if you want to scoot down one chair, you're more than welcome.
I'm going to stay where I am if that's okay. I'm still a little uncomfortable with.
he's temporary.
Yeah.
I want to look at the chair. I want to look at Tom here for a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Chairman, the floor is all yours.
Wow. Well, the November 4th, 9 a.m. Regular monthly planning board meeting has already been called into session and gavelled in. I'll gavel it for officially. We've had a call to order. We have a quorum with 3 of the 5 positions represented. We've considered the chair and vice chair appointments. Does anyone wish to amend the existing agenda for the planning board meeting today?
Nope.
If not, can I have a motion that the agenda be approved as written?
I so
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
Unanimous that the agenda is approved as it is. We're now open to public comments for a maximum of 3 minutes and no deliberation with board members. Do any of our visitors wish to make a comment before the planning board? Seeing no one rise, we will move on to item number 5. In consideration of approval of the minutes of our past October 7th, 2021 planning board meeting, which we were all provided a copy of. Cindy had sent it out to us previously and requested any changes. First of all, Cindy, did any suggested changes come back to you?
No.
Okay. I'd like to have a motion for either amending or approval of the minutes of October 7th.
I move to approve the members of October 7th.
Okay, I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The October 7th minutes are so approved. I have a copy of them. I will sign them and provide them to you, Cindy, at the end of the meeting.
I have to take the draft off here and get a formal copy. I'll get you signed.
Okay, very good. We'll then wait for that. Okay, item number 6, new business. We have what's called here the Towns at Seaside Final Plat Phase 1 approval, which I'll turn over to Chad to start the discussions on that.
Yes. And I do need to point out a couple errors that I made in my staff report. And the application overview, it does say, this is the correct part. The Towns at Seaside, Mr. Spencer, who is here with representing H&H Homes, owner and applicant is requesting the final plat of Phase 1. Final plat will grant permission to construct and operate lots 1 through 16 and 39 through 48, 26 lots total for townhome units. The subject property is not located off of Clubhouse Road and Crooked Gully. That part is wrong. The subject property is located off of 904 and what's
170.
Sandy Creek Road? Is that the
That's it.
Sunset Creek.
Sunset Creek Road is the nearest road that it intersects with. So it's roughly what, 500 feet north of that? Yeah.
Well, it's Arnett Drive.
It's Arnett Drive, yes.
But that's not there right now.
Right. It is.
It is.
It is, and it
Didn't they
is.
just put the sign up?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
It's officially not there until.
Right.
Okay.
Brian, remind me of the total acreage of that,
The parcel or this phase?
this phase, do you know?
So
I have 12.4 acres.
So 12.4 acres total parcel, and the correct parcel number is 242,000,00504.
Yes.
But the part that was correct was that this is a request of a final plat for Phase 1 for the villas at Seaside, for lots 1 through 16, 39 through 48 for 26 total lots for townhome units. I do have the applicant here. The staff has reviewed this and it awaits approval from the planning board. So if you have any questions to me or the applicant, I do have both here.
So
Yes,
this
sir.
is MR3 before changes.
Yes, correct.
One question I have of the applicant. All through the paperwork, it refers to the development as the Towns at Seaside. And I assume that is, now that I believe there's been a name change to Villas at Seaside,
Yes, sir.
and that will be integrated. That change will be integrated through all of the
Yes, sir.
documents, the bylaws,
The CCRs,
I mean,
everything.
there's probably 100 notes of the incorrect town.
That was a request early on when we initially called it the Towns at Seaside, and our sales and marketing asked if we could make it Villas at Seaside, and we asked and said yes. And so yes, all the documentation, all the HOA, the declaration, everything will be Villas at Seaside.
Any of the other
I will
board
make the
members have-
comment that I do have the Mylar signed by Bill Penix in my office. That means the state and county has certified the pump station, the water and sewer is installed, the electric installed. All that is certified with the county and the state to be able to grant these parcels buildable.
The pump station is there.
Yes,
It
sir.
is.
It's complete, built.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And certified.
That's Brunswick Public Utilities property, the pump station.
Correct.
It has not been dedicated
It's
to
not
them.
been-
There's a
but
deed
it will
dedication
be.
process that has to be done, but it's operational and certified to.
So it's currently yours,
Yes.
but will be theirs
It will be theirs. Yes, sir.
because the declaration infers that it's the owner's.
I'm sorry.
The covenants say that they're responsible for the maintenance of the pump station.
That's incorrect. That'll have to be revised.
On page, well, let me make sure I'm correct on that.
So who do you say maintains it? The county?
Yes, sir.
County? Once you
We have to
deed it
provide a
over
warranty
there-
period, a year warranty.
On section 19, duplex common element reads, shall being referred to all property and improvements therein owned in fee by the association, I guess this may be the legal thing, for common use and enjoying benefit of members and the properties, including without limitation, private streets and drive within the subdivisions, pumping stations, and area within any stormwater easements.
That's when, once the properties are dedicated to the HOA, they're responsible for maintaining them. Those properties haven't been dedicated to the HOA because they technically don't exist yet because the plat's not recorded.
Right. So I guess when I read this originally, I viewed this as saying that the HOA will have responsibility for the pump station, but you're saying
They would
won't.
if we dedicated it to them, yes, sir. But we will not. That will be dedicated to the county.
But the two private streets and the driveway will be.
Yes, sir. The private streets and the driveway will be dedicated to the HOA for maintenance. Stormwater maintenance will be HOA. Only water and sewer will be dedicated to the county.
So, Ron, are you suggesting that there be a revision to that to be clear?
Well,
or is it?
I guess I'm not a lawyer, so I can't tell you if that's legally correct. I'm just a homeowner, so I guess in my mind, transparency is always better. I mean, I guess I would like to see the covenants to the new owners who eventually buy here be clear that they are responsible for that 50-foot by 422-foot driveway, the two roads, Arnett Drive and Tillamore Drive, but not the pumping station, so they know what they're buying into. To me, it's a matter of clarity.
Yeah, and I think there's also.
I don't know. The lawyer could say that the way it's written in these dedications make it all right.
Yeah.
But as a buyer who ends up buying a townhouse, are you understanding what you're buying into?
And Mr. Spencer's already going to have to get me an updated one, correct? And I'm sure he can have that taken a look at.
Right.
Yeah, we can take that out because
I know you refer to the driveway, I think a couple of times, by referring to the deed, which I pulled the deed up to see what it said. You know, you refer to that map or whatever, book 4336, page 669. So I pulled that up where that little driveway easement is deeded and then has to be part of, so just that the owners understand when they buy this, they're responsible for fixing the driveway and fixing the roads, but not the pump station.
okay.
I don't know how to write that legally, I guess.
Well, it's
It
because
may be perfectly legal now.
well, because it refers to the common area and the common area hasn't been dedicated to them yet, we can easily take that out of the common area definition.
Right.
And that way, when common area is defined in the declaration, it'll exclude the pump station. Because like I said, the declaration hasn't been recorded
because as
yet.
far as I could see, the only common area will end up then being the driveway and the two roads.
No, there's a couple of other common
Well, there's
spaces.
mailboxes.
The
Oh,
mailboxes, the stormwater ponds will be common areas.
Chad, does staff have any issue with that suggested revision? Can you monitor that be done?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's I mean, until this really is built out, these decoratives and covenants will be ever so rolling and amended as such anyway, because it's how many phases are you gonna 3 or 4?
So, well, we had initially 4 on the plans, but I think we're going to combine the 3rd and 4th one together
Yeah.
and just do it in 3.
So yeah, I mean there will be 2 to 3 other phases for this. So each time that you do a phase, you really have to amend the covenants and declarations. So I will be monitoring that closely as this project gets built out.
Sybil, do you have any comments?
I had a question.
Sure.
On page 26, section 4, vacant leased dwellings. I just didn't understand that. I read it several times and still couldn't figure out how it came to 49%. If you rent it,
4 that she's referring to right there. And you don't have this memorized?
26,
No, who would do that?
section 4.
And I'm not an attorney, so.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of this.
It sounds to me like it would apply apply to a voting matter of the association, that a vacant property that, when someone buys and builds, they wouldn't be, they wouldn't have any more weight than 49% of matter pending before the association with section 5 on lot building.
Does that mean there can only be 49% of lots used for rentals?
No,
Is what they're trying to get to?
I totally, yeah. I have
Vacant
question
and
marks.
rental units shall not be entitled, in other words, no matter how many people want to rent these out, in other words, if 52% of the lots are rented or vacant, not owner occupied, they still only get 49% of the vote. The residents that live there always
Now,
have at least 51%.
I think some context might
That-
help.
that-
Article 3, it says membership and voting rights, whatever the membership and voting rights entitled to them to, as vacant and leased dwellings, so such as renters. Again, I'm not an attorney. This is where it would come into as far as a voting membership right. I guess they would only have 49%, so not a majority of.
Right.
Okay.
So in
the
other words, I think
association would then have 51%.
so there's 26 lots. If 14 lots are rentals, right? They would generally have
Only 49.
26 of the vote, which is more than 50. What that is saying here, even if that's mathematically true,
they only get 49%.
they only get 49%. That owners that occupy the property
Yeah,
Have more
owners
rights.
get
always
100%.
have 51%
All
of the vote.
And also section 3.
So it gives, to be clear, to
It gives
answer your
the
question,
occup- the
it gives occupant owners
More say.
more say in what goes on in the
Rentals.
community than
Yeah. And that's-
the ones that are open for rentals. Because still, it's the owner that has the vote, not the renter.
Exactly.
Right. It's always the owner,
But
but
if you don't if you're not on premises and you've rented it, your voting status goes down.
Well, even being a current leaser and a leasee, as I speak right now, if something was to go on like an HOA sent you a letter or the town sent you a letter, it all goes, and that's my world as well since I've been doing this, it always goes back to the property owner
Right.
and not who is renting there.
Right.
So,
yeah, technically,
Amazing.
if you
Yeah.
read this, the property itself votes.
correct.
Is the
Yeah.
vote.
Yeah.
The owner of that property is the member that casts the vote.
Not the person who's renting it or
Right.
leasing it.
But if he's renting it, then his vote doesn't count as much.
The renter doesn't count, but
The renter doesn't count at all.
their vote
I
counts.
got that, but
Their
the
vote-
owner's vote, does it count as much?
It will be up to 49%.
Up
No.
to 49%, so it doesn't.
It does. They always have a Class A membership or Class
Right.
B
B,
membership.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Unless they're.
So if there's more than a majority of leased properties, they still never get the majority. There could be 25 lots that are leased, and one person lives there. That one lot would have 51 votes.
percent of the vote.
Well,
Not likely.
it depends. It
Not
depends though.
likely.
If the declarant has lots, they get 9 votes for
Right.
every one
Right.
of their
Until they
Okay,
get sell them
yeah.
all.
until
Got
they
it.
sell them all. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Now, the other thing is, and I just wondered if this was common with section 3, that at any, well, you read it.
The declarant's right to appoint directors of office of the association.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Sounds like Sea Trail.
It's section 3 of that same.
Yes,
Yeah, right
it's the
above
one
it.
right above it.
he's thinking.
Yeah, it should be at the top.
He's
of the
thinking he
page.
should have brought his lawyer with him.
No, that's true of every
Yeah.
association.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was just my
The
question.
declarant, when they establish an association,
Yeah.
always it has the ability to appoint the
Okay.
board, unless he gives it up, which
Right.
they'll never do.
Right.
And there's a mechanism in there that either a certain number of lots is sold or a date certain in most cases.
Yeah,
Um,
2030, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the declarant has the most to lose, if you will, or gain. They want to see the properties stay at their
Standard.
standards, if you will, because they want to sell the rest of their properties,
Right,
so they want it to be attractive. It's
And so usually it's a percentage of the lot sold or a date certain or until he gives it up.
Okay.
okay. Thank you for addressing that. Chad, any issues with what's been said there?
No,
Uh,
no, the
so
roads are in.
anything else?
Everything.
I think that's it. I think that's it, yeah.
Anything else?
My other,
One question, I guess. I see they did this coring sample checking the existing roads. And
Yeah,
what I forgot to do was look up our new ordinance to see, does all this meet
yeah,
the new road ordinance?
Yeah, Dustin has looked at all this and has spoke with the applicant
Yeah.
multiple
Well,
times.
those are
and
the
certified
existing
that.
corings, and they still have another inch of asphalt to
Yes.
put down
We'll
on
have
there.
That is bonded,
So,
yes.
We'll have to core them again
Yeah.
once that's down.
Yeah.
Right. Because I took issue with that. None of them met the 2-inch standard or the 2-inch
Right.
design.
Yeah.
But
And
you
then
gotta-
I went out and drove around and I could see it's from the curb cut, it's down still
Yeah.
3/4
And there's
of
a
an inch.
bond up to cover the remaining.
Yes.
section. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
okay.
One question I had, I guess to wrap up, I assume that I have not seen how they're going to be laid out. I've seen the boxes that show the two side-by-side units in each lot. But I assume that all parking is going to be on the street. There's not going to be garages associated with
No,
the
they
units.
they have garages.
Oh, all right, super.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
if you park, if everybody parked on the street, we wouldn't get a fire engine.
No.
We could, but until 3 and 4 are built, we'd have to back in and out, and with about 6 inches on each side. So,
Yeah, no, these units have garages.
Okay,
Yeah,
very
okay.
good.
So,
Any other questions
I'm
for
good.
the
Nope.
applicant?
Nope.
I move.
I'm sorry, if I can,
No,
I would
please.
just like to say, as part of this project was the MR3, and I would just like to say that I appreciate staff working with us to affect the text amendment that
allow this to-
changed so that these duplexes could go forward as they were originally intended. So thank you for
You're
that.
talking about the fee simple
Yes.
Yes, sir.
portion? Okay, with the townhouse definition and
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes,
so these are one of these that are gonna be
vertical.
vertically split and they'll
Correct.
have
Yes, sir.
half and half of the ownership of the
Correct.
land.
But
on
I
the-
just wanted to say I appreciate the town and the staff working with us to.
Absolutely.
Well, then people in lot number 3 are gonna have a big chunk of dirt.
So,
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion for acceptance, approval of the Villas at Seaside Final Plat Phase 1.
I so move.
I second the
second?
motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous vote. Thank you.
Brian, I'll have that ready for you this afternoon. Okay. So however you want to do that, I'll just put it up front or just call me.
Okay,
Thanks, sir.
thank you.
Staff comments?
Staff comments. This will be, I will not be here in December. We've talked about that. I haven't set it up for somebody, a representative from the COG. So Wes McLeod, who you're familiar with, or his newly appointed assistant within the past year, Sam Shore, will be representing me for that meeting. The only thing that you potentially have on the agenda right now is 16 single-family units that are in the mixed-use district. That's the only thing that I really have confirmed with the surrounding area that is going to be tried to be brought forward.
Is that
to you.
behind Ingram Planetarium?
Yes.
Okay.
It's right behind High Market, Queen and High Market.
On
is
the
where-
garage side of the existing
Have we
townhomes
looked
that are
at
there.
2 of those already?
Yes, you're exactly right.
This is the third one.
This
Three's
is
the
the
charm?
Third, everything falls in threes. So yes, so we have that going forward. That will be on your agenda. We'll talk about the RCCP stuff that will be coming in with that meeting as well on the back end of it here shortly. January's meeting could be pretty busy. I know I say that
You
a
keep
lot.
promising that.
I know, and I hopefully one day I'll fulfill my promise of a long meeting with a lunch in between for Sybil. So
I'll bring snacks.
Ocean Ridge is still lingering out there. Phase 1 of the sanctuary is getting ready to be brought forward, and then phase 2 of Birdwatch is going to be brought forward. Both of them, one sanctuary will be a preliminary plat, Ocean Ridge will be a preliminary plat, and then Birdwatch phase 2 will be a final plat that will complete there. So I have spoke with both of those applicants, trying to get ahead of what December meeting will look like, and they have.
Did Ocean Ridge get their state things done in the interim? Traffic and something else? Stormwater and traffic?
The stormwater is, I'm not sure. I haven't really, because they're outside entities, not 100% sure. So, So that's where I'm at with that.
Can I assume, is it correct to assume that the November 18th alternate planning board meeting, workshop, whatever we were going to call it, is not going to be scheduled?
We
at
can
this
get
time?
into that here in a few minutes in the RCCP,
Okay.
and I'll explain why I don't think that's going to be necessary to move forward. So this should be our last meeting before the December 2nd. But
And then we'll talk about the RCC being bootstrapped onto
that's
that
more
meeting.
of a, yeah, the planning board, we're only meeting once a month. That's still the what was approved. And also the RCCP would dictate that second meeting. And with the meeting coming in shortly, as soon as we get done with this, I'll explain what is going on and where we're at and how much we're on track we're on.
With the 2022 start of the year review by COG of our ordinances of the UDO,
Yes.
I might suggest that staff take into consideration that I think the planning board can have a lot of very constructive suggestions into that process,
Yes.
and that sooner than later would be good. I would not want to see, I don't know how my fellow planning board members feel, I would not want to see COG review the whole thing and then send it to us. I think us looking at it with virgin eyes and then offering suggestions for their consideration would be would make it easier on COG to have different viewpoints to be considered.
So go ahead, Sybil.
Well, I might also want to suggest that, particularly now with the RCCP survey that they showed us, that we may need to address some of the things in the UDO that the public is showing us is really important, or things that they, and
well, that would be in the land use plan as much as the UDO, but you're correct. I agree with you.
yeah.
So January, February is going to be busy finishing up the RCCP grants. The applicants probably will have some submittals. So the audit and rewrite the audit will start January, February. They will take 3 months. So we won't get started as far as articles being brought forward probably until April or May. I've looked. I need to forward you all that schedule, what it roughly
But that's
looks
after COG has massaged them and changed them,
Correct.
and then we'll get their
And-
product.
like. Correct.
I'd like to give them some suggestions,
Okay.
chapter by chapter,
Okay.
that the things that we've been working on,
Okay.
that
So
are
what
close
I
to
will
us.
what I will do is I'll talk to Wes because I've got to schedule a meeting with him soon anyway to talk about what staff would like to see implemented into that, and see if I can schedule him on the agenda for next winter into spring, probably February to April, to get him in there to allow him to.
Even if you
speak.
do not, even if staff does not want us to complicate the COG's initial review of our present UDO,
Right.
I would hope that the planning board members would have the opportunity and a means of, even if it's only a one-way transmission, where we would send things to them and they can at least look at them, they can throw them away, because we still have another bite at the apple once they bring their product back to us.
Yes.
But I'd like to make it go faster than slower by
Okay.
them considering some of our suggestions up
Will do.
front
I
as
can
they go through it chapter by chapter.
I can make that happen.
Okay.
And that's all I had.
I just wanted to get that on the record.
Sure.
Staff comments continued?
Nope. I'm good.
All right. Public comments, 3 minutes. No deliberation with board members. Any comments from the public? Seeing nobody rise, I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn,
And then we will go.
and then we will
Maybe
go
2
after a
minutes.
5-minute recess
Yeah.
into the RCCP meeting.
Yep.
Is there a second to adjourn?
Yes, I second it.
Okay.
I
All in favor?
Aye.